Hey everyone, welcome back to Carl's Review for. Today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. Now this figure is something we definitely needed a upgrade on, especially with the previous iterations we got of this figure. Now this is obviously going to be one of the best versions of this character. It's the best figure of this character, I mean. When it comes to not only the backpack, I know some of them have really bad backpacks, but also the design and the accuracy of the figure compared to the CG render. You know, the engineers, they did the best they could, and they really gave us a good product. They gave us a good figure, and the outcome of their engineering is wonderful. I mean, for a leader class figure, it is small, but it does make up when it comes to the engineering, the sculpt, and the paint. This guy's detail is insane. Starting with the head, he is very detailed there. Although I do feel like with the amount of detail they put, it does get lost because of how small that head is. And also because of the colored plastic they use. I feel like the plastic, it's a little weird gray that kind of mushes all of the sculpt together. Paint is nice overall. The eyes though, it kind of just looks like they sloppily painted that on. The chest is amazing. They have a lot of detail on this. Paint is minimal, but it's still pretty good. I do have a few paint bleeds. But overall, it's not bad. Because of the way it's sculpted, as much as it needs paint, it also doesn't. It just looks like it's really detailed, even though there's barely any paint. But there is a tiny, very tiny Autobot insignia on that chest piece, which is a really nice detail. Especially for a later class figure, paying like 90 bucks for this, who's basically smaller than a Voyager, is insane, but you know, it does make up for a lot of the things it does. The legs are sculpted as well. The sculpt on here is pretty good too. A lot of people mention that the sculpt of this guy is bulky compared to his design in the movie, but I kind of like it because of how bulky he is, right? The very wide shoulders compared to the very slim waist, it does give that effect that he is muscular in a way, but because of how short he is as well, he kind of looks stocky and stumpy. The paint though on the legs is nice. There's a lot of detail. The silver is nice as well, right? A lot of the truck pieces gets covered up and it's just hiding at the back, which is nice because, you know, you don't really see it on the front, except for the smokestacks, which I get a lot of people do, but I personally don't mind it. He does stand very nicely. He'll stand. He will lean back a bit, right? And also these are on friction pegs and they will come off. They've come off on me a few times now, but it's not really too much of an issue. I will tell you that this entire figure has no hollow spots whatsoever, and I think that's really nice. Now for his accessories, he comes with quite a bit of stuff. So the first thing that he comes with is his Sword of Judgment, which is really nicely sculpted. I really like the way they have a lot of detail on here. Not too much paint, but you know, most of it went to this guy. The red is really nice. It is also detachable, so you can just slip it in. He also comes with his shield. It's a very nice shield. It's smaller, I think, but I don't really know because I barely see the shield in the movie, in both movies actually. But yeah, no, it does like retract in some scenes into his body. The detail on here is nice. There's no paint either, barely any paint at least. The red is nice though. I do wish it was on the slider so you didn't have to take this off frequently. And also that gun, that triple barrel gun, looks very nice. I really do like that. It's a really nice addition. And then he does come with his little storage thingy, which you can port on the back. And then he comes with his Energon blade. Let's say axe. This is painted in a gunmetal gray, which I don't know why this is the only accessory that is gunmetal gray. It should be at least his sword, if not even his shield. But it is there. It is on a 5mm peg, and there is a slot for this can peg into any of the above the wrist ports, or you can even peg it into his hand. It's not the most secure connection on either ports, but it is there for that one scene where Galvatron just disintegrates it with his chest. Articulation wise, this guy is really good. I have no complaints really, except mostly the legs. I'll get into that in a bit. Ball peg at the head so he can look side to side, up and down. Barely any down, he's basically looking forward. His shoulders can, oh shoot. His shoulders can go out to more than 90. And also this shoulder armor is on its own hinge, so you can move it out of the way for articulation, which I didn't do earlier. I don't know why, but I did. And you can also, like, yeah, do that too. It's on a hinge with a swivel, full 360 movement. And then he also has a bicep swivel, which is really tight on this arm, but this arm is fine. Double jointed elbow, which gets you pretty much all the way, but that's also used for transformation. And then he does have a dedicated wristband, and then also wrist swivel. And then he can also move his hands in and out. He does have a below the waist swivel because of how this guy transforms. You do get a full 360 if you move everything out of the way. His legs can go out that far, a little bit over 90. It can go back all the way. It can go out all the way as well. He does have a thigh rotation. His knees can only go up to 90. And then you do get a ankle swivel. That does not sound right. That does not sound right. You do get an ankle swivel. Ankle pivot. And then he also has foot movement, but that's mostly used for the transformation, but you can honestly just use it for any pose really that needs his foot to be like that. For comparisons, Shockwave from the Bumblebee movie. Now obviously, as he is very big, he's tall, and he's also pretty hefty. Now I thought this was going to be all types of Voyagers, right, with them being this tall. I didn't expect that some Voyagers or some leaders, especially this one, to be very small or smaller than this one, because this really set up my standard for how good Voyagers are. Now I'm not saying this is bad, but I'm saying I expected more from this because it is a leader. Also, he is smaller than a regular Voyager. You know, I do think that now with figures like 102 or maybe like the Bumblebee movie one, this would probably be taller. This should be taller, and obviously the 102 is bigger. So for this guy's transformation, he is very involved. He does have 44 steps. So the first thing you want to do is to just take the backpack and then turn it 180 degrees, flip out and straighten out everything. You do want to be careful of these window pieces because they are translucent plastic that is also painted. So you want to be careful of that so that you don't smudge the paint or stress the plastic because they also on pins. The next thing you want to do is to just turn the arms 180 degrees, like so. Then you want to move them out of the way and undo his chest piece or his whole torso. And then you have these little nubs here, those little tabs. You want to undo that, kind of bending at the hinge as well, so that it does go in there or like behind that. So you want to do it at the right time so that it gets behind that and it also doesn't like break or anything. So you just want to do that on the other side, like so. And then you want to take the arms, put them forward, and then collapse them on themselves using that double jointed double. And then you want to peg the arm in into that peg. I'm not sure if I can see. Oh shoot! I'm not sure if I can see that, but here, let's get the light in there. Yeah, there's a peg there. You want to peg into that slot, get in there, and then you do want to have to peg in the shoulder armor as well with this peg slot going into that peg. You will have to try a couple times, and you will have to get it at the right angle, or else it will just pop out. This one especially likes to pop out a lot. Do the same thing on the other side. Get it in like so, and oh, there we go. It is popping out. Yeah. So you just have to get it at the right angle, or else it's just going to do that, and it's going to be very frustrating and annoying. And what you want to do is just leave it like that. Before you actually do that, though, like this will come apart and will come out like that. You will need that later on, but for now, just fold up these. This one does have this head does have a double hinge. You do want to move it at the double hinge, or else you're just going to stress the plastic like I did. Right, I was moving it by like this joint. So you go, so yeah, no, that does stress it. So you want to push it up to where you're using the double joint, and you want to press this down in on itself until it pegs in. Then you want to take these pieces and unpeg them, then just align them like that. Then you want to take this piece that we unpegged after the arms, and there is a slot here for where that will go in. Right, that slot. This will go into there. You want to shimmy that down, like so. And then now you can just put this together like that. There are pegs like that will go into there. So like that. There you have the front of the truck. It is very, very, very don't want to speak right now, but it is a lot. So yeah, then you want to collapse the doors, and then that kind of went in. So yeah, I would just do that. Right? If you didn't see that, I moved these up before putting this down so that this slot can go into there. So just like that, and then you would want to peg in those arms, and then you want to push this down. So it snaps, and there you have the front of the truck. That is a lot. That took a lot too. So now you want to use this double hinge and then peg that into the bottom of the truck and spin him 180 degrees. And then now we can work on the legs. Collapse the legs and turn them 180 degrees. I have 180 degrees. Then you want to tab the back of the legs and then hinge them out like so. Then you want to collapse that piece, hinge that up, and then take the side piece and then fold it inwards. Do the same thing on the other side. So fold it in, fold that out, fold that in. Then you want to turn the thighs 90 degrees and then undo the wheels. Then take out the gas canisters. What you want to do now is use, there's two hinges. So you want to use this hinge, the knee hinge, to move that upwards. Take up trailer hitch and then close this back up. This doesn't have a secure connection. I'm pegging into here, so I just want to let you guys know that just so that. Yeah, but there's just no secure connection. And do the same thing on the other side, just according to that. So take the trailer hitch out, peg that in, and now we can peg everything together, like so. Now we can also peg the hood as well. Line that up. Like that. Now this is my second gripe. Or was it third? I don't even know. But this is where my other gripe comes in, my major one. When this is going down to peg in to those two pieces, okay, so pegging right now. You do have to line it up correctly, just so that, yeah, just line it up correctly, and then it should fit in at least. Right? And it should close all the way, which is my gripe. And this thing doesn't want to close all the way. Then you want to take the gas canisters, and then it's not going to go in all the way because you're only using the one hinge. You have to use two hinges. So there, you have to use that knee hinge and just accordion that all the way down as far as you can. And then you have the space to peg it in, which is not going to work because this is not aligned properly. There, that should be fine. And then just peg it in like so. That is one side. Now for the other side, do the same thing. Just accordion that down and then peg it in like so. Make sure everything is straight and aligned. And there you have the truck mode. This truck mode is really nice. It is a very accurate representation of the Western Star truck that Prime uses in the movies, except this piece. This piece annoys me. I hate that piece so much. But yeah, no, there's like no kibble on here, right? You barely see any of the robot besides the knees. But other than that, it looks great, right? It looks very accurate, right? All of the paint just went here, and I love it so much. It also rolls really nicely as well. And also, like, for the storage, it's very compact, and I do like it. So you're just gonna want to fix this first. You want to take this storage piece or this sheath piece, plug it into the trailer hitch, take the sword, slide it through, and it will go into Optimus like that. And then you take the shield and then just peg it on top just like so. And then you want to take this Energon blade and then attach it to that peg. You do want to be careful though, because that will scratch the peg slot inside the blade. But yeah, no, that is the weapon storage, and I think that looks great. It looks fun. There's a Western Star logo here on the other side as well. Yep, there's the Autobot insignia. It looks great. I do want to compare this to the Siege Optimus because I did find a lot of similarities to the transformation. I mean, first of all, this guy is tiny. This guy is so small compared to Age of Extinction Optimus. They're relatively the same size as well, and it's really interesting how small this guy is in his alt mode compared to this one. For the weapon storage, you do have the sheath here where you can put the shield there. You will have to open up this front piece, which does ruin the silhouette of the figure, and then you're able to just slide that in there like so. One problem I do have with this one though is the backpack. It doesn't plug in anywhere, and it's just really annoying sometimes. And then also for this, that slot is so small, so it will go in there. It's not the most secure thing in the world. It's not tight either. It's just it'll come off very easily. Overall, this guy is great. With the minimal concerns I have, he is pretty much worth it to an extent. I will say that $90 is pretty wild for this, especially with the QC issues that he has. If you do like Age of Extinction, which I doubt a lot of people would, but if you just want like a really good figure, then pick this up. I'd recommend it. And yeah, thanks for watching.